3, 4. The origins of Dragon Boat, even though there's some slight difference, but in general, it was about 2,400 years ago in China. It is a ritual paid to a patriot poet or civil servant who was very loyal, and he's in the literary world, he's a giant. But he's also an advisor to the emperor. So he do something, he's very honest, open, he criticizes and advises, and the emperor just doesn't like his attitude. So he got banished, to faraway places and near a river. And so he was longing to go back year after year. Finally, he knew that he was done. So one day, he decided to end his life by jumping in the water. And the fishermen all around, they all know him. They know that this is a big deal. This guy is really, somebody just hiding here. So they all sort of paddle their boat out there to where he jumped in the water trying to rescue him. And obviously, it doesn't work. But since then, every year that during his anniversary, they all came out there and with a boat, and then they built a drum, trying to chase the fish away so that they won't attack his body. And they drop food into the river, trying to kind of, let him feel comfortable and let him get fed. And that was a start. And then this actually festival evolved into two parts. The boat going out to drop the stuff down to pay respect to him, that became the predecessor of Dragon Boat. And then the food they drop into the river, actually those are the 6 sticky rice wrapped in leaves. Now in lotus leaf. And today they call it sticky rice. You can get it from some of the Chinese restaurants. So this festival also called Double Fifth, or the zhongzi, that's a sticky rice in Chinese festival. So Dragon Boat, zhongzi, Double Fifth, they're all the same festival. That's the origin. And then it became very popular in South China because South China has a lot of rivers. So people, every time, the Double Fifth came, they use Dragon Boat, and the northern Chinese, they don't have as many rivers, they use they use sticky rice. So the ritual is slightly different. Now in 1986, in the Vancouver World Expo, Dragon Boat was reintroduced to the world by the Hong Kong Tourism Organization. It just took off like a rocket. The Dragon Boat, in the simplest form, is a long canoe with a lot of people paddling in it. That's the most sort of raw form to describe that. Now, when you have a race, that means a competition. So what you do in order to win, everybody has to do the same thing together consistently. So you're talking about a team, The team, has to be coordinated. This is a little bit different from from strategy. The strategy is very simple. You need to be very coordinated. You just go after as hard you can, go at the end, toward the target, the finishing line, and beat the rest of them. This is not like basketball, one-on-one, all those. So this is teamwork. So the most important part of Dragon Boat is teamwork. And in a more social sense, you're talking about community building. You can use that as a tool. We're all in the boat together, okay? Not sink or swim. It's not that. Win or lose, we're together. And so then itself is very exciting because you get all the decoration, the drummer, and all those record, dragon head, dragon tail. Those are added on during a race. So those are traditionally, culturally appealing, visually also appealing, and then you can rate as a team. So there's many elements you add together. By the way, this year in Paris, the first time the Dragon Boat is going to be a demonstration sport. 10-man boat. So it's going to be an Olympic event pretty soon. So the boat is naturally balanced to begin with, okay? But if it is not, then you have to make sure that both sides are going to be balanced. Now, once you do that, you're going to start, you got crew at different weight, different height, and how do you arrange them?
In a Dragon Boat, you're going to have the weight kind of balanced. Up in front, the first 2 rows, we have what we call the pacers. Those are the ones that everybody's going to keep pace with, so that number one in a Dragon Boat is you got to be together. If you're not hitting the water together, you're working by yourself. So the pacers up front, first 2 rows set the pace for the rest of the boat. As we move back to the middle of the boat, that's more of what we call the engine room, which is going to be the heavier guys, more power. And then as you get towards the back of the boat, you're backing back off to the lighter weight people, and they're just contributing to the whole boat. The other 2 people in the boat, so you have your 20 paddlers, and then usually you'll have a coach. For practices, is going to be in the front of the boat. You always have a steer. The steer is making sure where the boat's going, keeping you out of the weeds and keeping you out of problems. In races, traditionally, the front is not a coach anymore, but it's a drummer. So you'll see a big drum sitting on the front of the boat, and theoretically, they're keeping pace for the rest of the boat. In actuality, they're really following the pacers, because whoever's in the boat paddling, they can't override the drummer. So the drummer's just going to be more decorative again in a race. But that's who you'd see sitting in the front with the big drum.
I've been dragon boating since 2019. I'll be going to Italy in September.
On the top of the heap in the animal kingdom, dragon is sitting on top in China. That's the top. And there's no lion, no tiger, it's dragon. And dragon is being revered as a sacred beast or animal. And the Dragon Boat Festival, I think it started with the origin of Dragon Boat. I don't think that many centuries afterward, okay, it's called Dragon Boat. Very soon. Because also Dragon Boat is long. Okay, there's no boat is that long. So it's almost like a dragon. I think like any other culture, there are something that in each culture people would kind of envision, or once they get exposed to them in their head, there's something that will inscribe in their head, okay? Perhaps more favorably or strongly than some other piece of the culture. And I believe the Dragon Boat is one of those that you were talking about the Asian culture, especially East Asian culture. Of course, when we talk about China, that's different. That obviously is one of those signature that experience.
2, 1, move, straight. Up, thanks. Straight. Up. Straight. Up, steady.
Dragon Boat has been Charlotte since 2006, and when I first retired, I thought about doing something for the community, with the community. And at that time, in 2005, I think the project is called Crossroads Charlotte, and we were one of the participating organizations. And we're being asked, what would we suggest that to bring something to connect with the community as a community building tool. And at that time, I already had eyes on Dragon Boat event already. So I went to several cities, look at the race and trying to get an idea how we can organize. So when this Crossroads Charlotte opportunity came along, we just proposed that we're going to do that. And it was the acceptance is far outreach our expectation. We said, okay, let's just do it. So 2006, we decided, to do it. At that time, very few of us know, how to steer a boat. It was the first time I got into Dragon Boat, but I do the rowboat and other things when I was young. So I love water. So there's nothing all that scary to me. But getting to that and then reading some of the history, just make us feel that, yeah, this is probably the right we call it cross-cultural sport.
The Dragon Boat Festivals bring a lot of different people together. It promotes exercise, health. It promotes community awareness of different populations within the community and their traditions and cultures. And dragon boating is a big part of that.
So we have 2 preliminary heats where we add the times together to find out who's the fastest teams and, different rankings for our teams. And then in the grand final, you'll be in the water with other teams that had very similar times with you. So the 5 fastest teams will be in the grand final. Maybe their times are like 1 second apart. The second fastest 5 teams will be in the consolation final, and then A, B, C, D, all the way down to the 5 slowest teams.
All the feedback we have is they said, oh, it's fun, they enjoy it. Now, that's one part of it. The other part, you ask them, hey, if so much, you want to join the club, as a racer? Now, that's the 2 different answers, okay? People, I like it, but I don't like it so much that, I train myself 3 days a week on a boat. That's a different kind of commitment. But this once a year, they love it.